This shooting was racially motivated, and he hated black people.
A 21-year-old white gunman killed 3 black people in Florida over the weekend in a racist attack. Thanks for joining us for In the News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. On Saturday afternoon, a masked gunman opened fire at a Dollar General store in the predominantly black neighborhood of Jacksonville, Florida. The shooter left behind racist writings. The Jacksonville sheriff details how this all happened.
At 1:18 p.m., he texted his father and told his father to check his computer. At 1:53 p.m., the shooter's family members called the Clay County Sheriff's Office. By that time, he had already began shooting in Jacksonville. The Clay County Sheriff's Office, who has been assisting our agency with this investigation, received information after the shooting that the shooter had authored several manifestos, one to his parents, one to the media, and one to federal agents. Portions of these manifestos detailed the shooter's disgusting ideology of hate. Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated, and he hated black people.
One of the victims was shot as she sat in her car outside a Jacksonville Dollar General store, another just after he entered the store, and the third minutes later.
Angela Michelle Carr, 52 years old. Lenote Joseph, or AJ, LaGarry Jr., 19 years old. And Gerald Gallen, 29 years old.
One of the victims leaves behind a 4-year-old daughter. Destiny McIver spoke to the family of Gerald Gallen.
When his mom called me, I'm thinking just shot. And when we found out, when I got the chance that it was this, my heart melted for my granddaughter.
Sabrina Rozier says she got the news that her granddaughter's father had been shot to death, and she fell apart.
Because she was his world and he was her world. And now we're trying to figure out how to tell her, because we haven't told her yet. She's only 4.
29-year-old Gerald Gallen was one of 3 people shot by this man, Ryan Palmetter, Saturday at a Dollar General on Kings Road. The sheriff says Palmetter wrote a 20-plus page manifesto saying he wanted to kill black people, which police say was the motive for the shooting.
It was senseless. Like, you came from another county to take innocent lives, and for what? I felt like you was a coward, because then you took your own life.
The mother of Gallen's daughter says she's numb.
How are you feeling right now, though?
A family preparing to tell Gallen's baby girl that her dad is never coming home.
My grandbaby keeps saying is, "Where's my daddy?" And all I can do is grab her, because I don't have the words right now.
The Florida community is now grappling with the tragedy of what happened, as several prayer services and vigils have taken place to help the community come together.
My eyes.
And I also want us to be clear that yes, they will try to sterilize what happened and blame mental health issues, but racism is not a mental health issue.
I've heard some people say that some of the rhetoric that we hear doesn't really represent what's in people's hearts. It's just the game. It's just the political game. There's 3 people who lost their lives. That's not a game. That's the reality of what we're dealing with.
My biggest concern was talking with the kids, kind of calming them down. They were really scared, crying, and just letting them know that something like this isn't going to stop us from going to the Dollar General. We're still going to go to church. We're still going to go to school. We're still going to do what we're going to do, and we're not going to be afraid.
Tia Collins has more from the prayer service.
It's not about Democrats, it's not about Republicans, but we have 3 people that are dead. Dead. Because they're black.
Sitting in this church were 4 Edward Waters University students who said they were on campus and saw the shooter before he left and headed to Dollar General. The students said they were too shaken up to talk on camera. Church leaders prayed for the victims' families, law enforcement, and the Jacksonville community.
Now the community is in an uproar. And that is something that we have to work together rather than being apart.
Mayor Donna Deegan gave an emotional speech saying she is sorry that violence has once again struck the community.
But today, more than anything else, I just want you to know that I'm here with you and I love you, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do something to stop this, and I will do everything I can in my power to see that this does not happen again. Thank you. God bless you.
Reporting in Jacksonville, Tia Collins, First Coast News.
This rock is Jesus.
The Jacksonville community unifying for a prayer vigil with several local faith leaders one day after 3 black people died in a racist mass shooting at a Dollar General on Kings Road before the gunman took his own life. Mayor Donna Deegan saying hate that divides the community must stop.
We've got to start seeing each other's humanity, hearing each other, listening to each other, talking to each other, and recognizing that no matter what, we are us. And we are all the same flesh, blood, and bones, and we should treat each other that way.
Governor Ron DeSantis struggling to be heard over the crowd booing him until City Councilwoman Jacoby Pittman quieted everyone down. DeSantis says state law enforcement is prepared to support historically black colleges and universities with security needs in the coming days. Police say the gunman first went to Edward Waters University before driving away.
We are not going to take it standing down. We are going to fight back against you. And if you try to show up at an HBCU to target people based on their race, you are not going to be successful.
Sheriff T.K. Waters says the tragedy is not a reflection of Jacksonville or its people.
This is not really what our city is, right? There are problems. There are people that cause problems. There are racist people. There are people that just hate people for whatever reason. But that is not representative of the whole.
3 crosses have been put up to remember the victims. Andrew Padilla shares the story behind the memorial.
For Roberto Marquez, Sunday is a day of work.
This is not the only memorial that I'm working on.
The work has taken Marquez to Jacksonville, blocks from a Dollar General where police say a white man came to kill black people, killing 3.
I got 3 crosses. I got 2 already built.
Marquez is from Dallas. For the last few years, he's built crosses in Ukraine, Uvalde, and Jacksonville.
I do it out of, something that is more within me that makes me feel good. I don't expect anything in return.
Marquez has never had to build a cross for a loved one, but after the first few, it's become personal.
If it helps, as it is helping, these people that are in pain, they need to know that people are behind them.
On a day of rest, Marquez is working to help heal a community. In Newtown, Andrew Badillo, First Coast News.
After taking the lives of 3 others, the shooter killed himself. The guns used in the killings were an AR-15, a semi-automatic rifle, and a Glock handgun. The sheriff said the gunman legally bought his guns even though he had been involuntarily committed for a mental health examination in 2017. The store where this all happened is near an historically black university, Edward Waters University. The school said the man was spotted on campus by a security guard shortly before the shooting and was asked to leave when he refused to identify himself. He was seen putting on his bullet-resistant vest and mask before he drove away. Police say it does not appear that he intended to attack the school. First Coast News went on campus to talk with students there.
We heard that it was an active shooter on campus and we were stuck in Popeyes, so that kind of scared us a lot, knowing that he was on campus and he walked through here to go down the road.
Quiona Bellamy is a freshman at Edward Waters University, and she says Saturday's shooting near the school was frightening for her and her roommate. She says they got a campus alert that the school was going on lockdown as an active shooter was nearby.
I felt like I was in a movie. I never had something happen to me so close.
University officials sent out this notice Saturday saying an unidentified man was in the vicinity of the library on campus, refusing to identify himself, wearing a tactical vest. Security told him to leave, and he did. Campus officials reported the encounter to police shortly after Jacksonville police confirmed a shooting happened at a nearby Dollar General, where the suspect killed 3 people and then himself in a racially motivated hate crime.
I just think it scared everybody because nobody's been out, and normally around this time everybody out here studying in groups and everything. So
we spoke with the president of EWU's Alumni Association, who calls the crime tragic.
It was a tragic situation. I believe it involved mental illness.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is here. We're going to ask the governor if he will come down and bring remarks.
Florida Governor and presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis, who has loosened gun restrictions in Florida, was loudly booed at one of the vigils as he tried to speak. On Monday, Governor DeSantis announced financial support for security at Edward Waters University and to help the victims' families.
I was working with some of the local officials as well as the president of Edward Waters College to see what kind of support we can provide. So I'm pleased to be able to announce we're going to be able to do $1 million to Edward Waters College to increase security on campus. As I've said for the last couple of days, we are not going to allow our HBCUs to be targeted by these people. And so we're going to provide security help with them. We also have FDLE on site today evaluating security on campus and making recommendations for any additional infrastructure improvements. Also, per the request at yesterday's vigil, we're able to do $100,000 to the charity that's supporting the victims' families, and those funds are all coming from Volunteer Florida.
Federal authorities are now investigating the attack as a hate crime. Thanks for being with us for this edition of In the News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney.